Hey, welcome back to No Hype Beer Reviews. Unless it's your first time, then welcome and please consider subscribing and hit that notification bell below so you get all the updates. Very excited for today's beer. The reason I'm drinking this beer is because Carlos Pena got at me on my, I think it was the Three Philosophers in Red Wine Barrels review, and asked me what I thought about like Three Philosophers in relationship to this beer. And I'm like, you know what? I haven't had this beer in a while, like a long time. Definitely before I was even doing beer reviews. So it's been a while. So the next time I went to the beer store, I grabbed one, and that's why I'm doing this review. So very cool. So I'll cheers you properly when I pour in the glass. So it's a quad, Belgian-style quad. Guldan, I think that's how I pronounce it, Guldan Draak, because it has a double A, 9,000 quadruple. It's part of the Global Beer Network. It's a product of Belgium. It's 10.7% ABV. Typically, like my quad's right around 10%, so like 9 to 11. So this is within what I think a quad should be. Again, product of Belgium. It's an exceptional and complex, exceptional and complex taste and sensation, and a deep golden amber blonde color. An ode to the city of Ghent with a golden dragon on top of the bell tower. Cool canner. I'm so used to drinking canned beer. Very cool bottle art on it. Look at that bubble. I hope camera picked up how that bubble there looked like the smoke was coming out. It was pretty rad. Using my St. Bernardus glass. So right off the bat, you can tell it's a lighter for a quad. This is definitely a lighter color, which is interesting. And I actually didn't read the bottle before I started filming, and I was wondering when I just read that it said that color was an amber blonde. I'm like, typically I associate quads with a very dark brown. Not like how stouts can be dark brown, like not quite that dark, but approaching it. But anyway, just rinse this out. I guess it actually looks pretty clean. Yeah, I mean that is an orangish, very orange color. And sometimes I don't know how the light's making it pick up on the camera, but from where I'm sitting, there's a little bit of red, but it's really a very orange mixed with brown in the center, but not what I think a quad looks like. It really is reminding me how long it's been since I've had this beer. I also don't see any sediment, and I'm used to some sediment in this style. So it's definitely not looking like what I think a quad looks like. The head, though, actually is pretty on. It's off-white. It definitely looks like I could easily take a spoon and just lap it up about 1 3/4. But yeah, looks a little different. I like that. I'm trying to get some different stuff going on the channel instead of doing the same kinds of styles and things. So hopefully the smell and taste are also different. Let's see about the aroma. Actually, in terms of smell, unlike the color, it smells pretty close to what I think a quad should smell like. You're getting some of like the sweet approaching caramel, like burnt sugar thing. Definitely a lot of dried fruits, which probably for me when I'm drinking a quad, the things I'm looking for the most in the smell and hopefully in the taste is the dried fruits, so like raisins, you get figs. And then also a grape component, like a grape juice almost, or not almost, like a grape juice. And I'm getting some of that in here too. This one has a little kiss of citrus, which is very pleasant in there, but not something I typically associate with a style. I hate to use the word generic before I say the following, but it kind of has like a generic Belgian yeast bubblegummy kind of a thing too, which is super pleasant. But yeah, like if you're unlike deer. Okay, so recap. Looks different than I think quads do. Smells a lot like I think a quad should, plus the addition of this little bit of a citrus zest, which is actually for me working very well in the aroma. Really excited about the taste. Cheers, Carlos, and everyone else. The taste is kind of like a mix of how I was describing the look and the aroma. It's a mix of what I'm expecting and some new stuff. So again, like you know, like I've been doing the 450 North slushies, which is such a weird new thing to to talk about in such a classic style. But like those were different than a lot of things I've been drinking. And although this is a style I love, this is different enough that it's very interesting. Right off the bat, get this beer, like just to try something different. And even, so maybe you don't drink a lot of quads. Even if you do, this is different enough that it's interesting and cool. But anyway, in terms of traditional stuff I get, like things, again, I associate with the style. Some of the dried fruit, but not as prominent as I thought it was going to be. Not that it was punching me in the face with the aroma, but I thought it'd be a little bit more dominant in the taste. It's there, super pleasant, really like it actually. Something like that, the burnt sugar thing, same thing. I'm wondering if this one, if they use the Belgian candied sugar, I gotta double check that's what that's called, right? I wonder if they use that or not, because it doesn't have as much of that characteristic as I typically associate, and might be part of why the color is lighter. So it definitely has that essence. And that citrus zest is there. Almost exactly how I thought it would be based on the aroma. It's a little bit more than what I would call a kiss of it. It's a little bit more than that. But it's not overpowering, it's not too much, but it's there and it's working really well for me. Definitely get some grape, which I'm looking for and like. So the new stuff besides that citrus thing, and not that this is the most unique thing, but in terms of what I look for, it's a little drier. I'm digging it though. I'm actually digging the dryness because this style can be relatively sweet. Now obviously, like the Three Philosophers has the addition of some creek, so it has a little bit of a cherry. I'm not getting any cherry out of this naturally as is. So just to kind of put those things together, since that's what Carlos was asking initially. A little bit of that bubblegum thing comes through from the yeast. And for this style, how I'm saying it's relatively dry for what I think, there are some nice notes of sweetness. In that sip, I got more of what I associate with like a rum-soaked raisins, which is awesome and something I definitely look for in this style. A little bit of that brown bread thing going on too towards the finish and into the finish. I feel like there's something else I'm missing in this taste that's familiar. Let me do one more sip, see if I can get it. Molasses. There it is. Yep, I knew it was familiar. In terms of the ABV, I don't get it in the taste. I've drank how much of this at this point, and getting a super slight amount in the chest, but nothing in the taste. Good creamy mouthfeel, what I'm looking for in terms of that as well in this style. It was in my regular refrigerator, and then I took it out maybe 45 minutes ago, so it's at a really good temperature to really open up. And yeah, I'm really enjoying this. Again, if you like this style, I think you'll like this, but it's different enough to be interesting. Have you had this recently enough to comment on it? Super curious what other people think. So if you have, definitely put a comment in the comment section below, or on Instagram and Untapped. No Hype Beer Reviews at both those places, so check that out. And again, Carlos, thank you for the idea to review this beer and kind of put it in my head by that asking your question. So I appreciate that. If anyone wants me to review something in particular that I can easily get, let me know in the comment section below as well. And as always, please like, comment, subscribe. Most importantly, thank you, Carlos. Cheers.